And now we head into the dedication portion. Our first inductee is men's soccer standout Michael Darrow, the all-time leading goal scorer for UTD men's soccer, recording 48 goals over his career from 2010 to 2013, a two-time first-team all-region selection, the American Southwest Conference Offensive Player of the Year in 2012 and 13. He holds the career record for points scored with 111, game-winning goals with 15, shots on goal with 130, a three-time all-conference performer. He helped the Comets to a 49, 15, and 11 record during his 3 years. Presenting Michael this year is the ASC Coach of the Year in men's soccer, Jason Hirsch.
Thank you. Okay, I'm very pleased to be here tonight and be able to introduce Michael Darrow into the UTD Athletic Hall of Honors. Michael's truly one of our great players, great all-time players, and he's definitely deserving of this honor. So, like I said, glad to be here. Honestly, we're lucky to get Michael. It's funny, I was watching an under-17 North Texas State Cup final game. And I went there to watch. There's this kid that was all over us. He was emailing me, and he was a very smart kid, emailing me every week, begging me to come out and watch him play. I went to go watch this game, and, it didn't quite work out with that kid. But while I'm at that game, I'm watching this, and the team that he was playing for, a Dallas, Texas team. They were playing against another team called Aces, who are well known here in the Dallas area. Very good soccer playing team. They ended up having some really good players themselves. And I'm watching this game, and there's this tall, kind of imposing, fast, like deceptively quick, skillful forward. He ends up scoring the only goal of the game off a header. They win 1-0. And become State Cup champions. So I emailed him after that game, try to see if I could get some kind of interest from him. He blanked me. Didn't hear back from him. A few months later, I'm scrolling. I get all these pamphlets from all these recruiting showcases. I'm scrolling through these pamphlets, and I see, there's Michael Darrow again. What does it hurt? I'll reach back out to him. I reached back out to him, and he actually replied and said he was interested in biomedical engineering. Was pretty close to committing to go to Texas A&M just to be a student, not play soccer. We brought him on campus, red carpet, if you will, met with professors, saw the labs, and so like I said, fortunate to get him. The other thing that you don't know is he had picked up an injury going into his senior year, and he wasn't able to play club. So I just know that if he'd have been playing club all fall, going into recruiting showcases, it would have been even tougher to get him because, who doesn't want a 6'4" center forward that can do the things that he can do? And so, like I said, lucky to get him here, very happy and fortunate. Let's see, what else do I have here? Sorry. Okay, so once he got here, we're looking at this kid going, you don't know what you're going to get. First week, we knew he could play. And, Bill said he read off all the awards. I mean, 3-time all-conference, 2-time first-team all-region, 2-time offensive player of the year, broke all the records, goals, career goals, goals in a season with 19 in how many games? 16 games, which is impressive for sure. Okay, the thing about Michael is he could score goals in every single way you can imagine. The guy could score with his left foot. He could score with his right foot. He could score headers. He could score bombs from outside the box. He can score tap-ins from inside the box. He could beat 3 guys and score himself. He could do all of those things. Other teams, they know this. Truly great players, when you know that they're great and you game plan for them and you try to stop them, but you can't. And that was Michael right there. So, his accomplishments on the soccer field, they obviously speak for themselves. Truly great player, one of our best all time, and he holds a ton of records, rightfully so, okay? But we're also very proud of what he's been able to do off the field. He's a true academic. He's going to get his PhD in biomedical engineering with a focus in neuroscience, walking this December. Okay, so we're proud that he is one of ours. Representing our program with what he's done in the classroom as well as on the field during his career here as a player. We got to brag when that kind of stuff happens because not everybody's going to come through and do what he's done. So as a coach, I was the assistant coach for 3 years while he was here, and then my first year as a head coach was his senior year. And as a coach, you want to work with great players. So it was truly an honor to have him in our program. Like I said, the soccer accomplishments, the academic accomplishments, but he's also a great guy. Teammates loved him. He was a leader, set a good example for everybody around. And it's not a fluke when you score 19 and 18, or 19 and 17. What was it? 19 and 18. Okay, and broke our school record for goals. And we've had some great goal scorers here, so puts him on the top of the list, and he deserves that. So, like I say, truly great player. It was a pleasure to work with him, and I'm still looking forward to seeing what he does from here because his career is just really getting started now. So, proud of him, excited for him, glad he's getting in the Hall of Honors, and rightfully so. So. You want to?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage our first inductee of the 2019 Athletic Hall of Honor, Michael Darrow.
All right. First off, I want to say thank you so much for all the kind words. That was wonderful. Thank you very much, Coach Hirsch. I'm incredibly honored tonight. Did not expect this to happen this year. It's been a crazy year for me. Very honored to be the 9th men's UTD soccer player to be inducted into the Hall of Honors. Like they said before, it's been a crazy year. I'm getting my PhD in biomedical engineering, and now I'm inducted into the Hall of Honors, and I couldn't have asked for a better year. I mean, I can't wait for what comes next as well. But I really want to use this time to thank everyone who's got me here. It's been a long road. Tons of people made sacrifices and helped me get to where I am and to make me the person that I am. So first off, I want to start with the people who did the most. My parents, Heather and Larry. Let's do one for them. It wasn't always easy. I'll start with that. But they sacrificed a whole lot. Throughout the years, club soccer is not cheap. It's expensive. There's traveling all the time. And it starts when you're like 12 years old. So they gave up weekends on weekends to go take me here, take me there, to really help me enjoy what I love to do. And so that didn't stop. Once I got to UTD, they still traveled so many games. They were always there, and I could always look over in the stands and find both of them immersed in the game just as much as I was. I don't think my dad could ever sit down at a game. He was always pacing around, telling me, "You can do better, come on," pushing me, and I am very thankful. There's no way that I can be thankful enough, so thank you very much. Next, I want to say thank you to some of my wonderful coaches. Jason Hirsch, Kevin White was also there the entire time, and Jack Peel, who's not here with us tonight. These three were instrumental in growing me not only as a player, but also as a person. I know when I came in, I was a very scrawny, tall forward, and you have lots of nice things to say about me, but my transformation from a freshman to a senior, that was drastic. That was a big difference. So you guys really helped me to become that much better. I'll never forget everything you taught me during all these 4 years, and as odd as it is to say, man, I sure do miss busting my ass for you guys at practice. That's so weird, but that is one thing I still very much miss. So it's hard to think that I would ever feel that way, but here I am. So, congratulations, men's soccer. They just won the conference tournament, so let's give a round of applause to that. That happened just this past Sunday, and good luck to you guys this weekend. I hope you guys go out and beat Trinity. All right. I'd also like to thank all of my teammates throughout the years. Obviously, I wouldn't be here without them, and I think I wrote down they had to put up with my overzealous, incredibly selfish, goal-oriented personality on the field. I don't know if you heard, yes, I did break the goals record, but I shattered the shots record. So next, I also want to thank someone, unfortunately, who is not here as well. He's just very busy right now with his team that he's still with. But he constantly looked out for me, and I mean constantly. He took care of me throughout my athletic career, and he was the reason that I was able to play as many games that I actually did. So Tom Monoghan, I really want to say thank you to you. I was injured 70% of the time I was here, but he helped revive me back before every single game and got me out there no matter how badly I was hurt. So really thank you, Tom. I hope you're listening. And then I would also like to thank all of the administration and staff here at UT Dallas. What you all do means so much to us student athletes, or I guess I should say has-beens. No longer a student athlete. But thank you all very much for all that you guys do. It really makes a big difference. And I'd like to finish up here and say that I'll never forget what happened while I was here at UTD during the athletic career. And I can't express how grateful I am to receive this honor. And I'll always remember how it shaped me to be the person that I am today. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Our next inductee is arguably the top power hitter ever for the Comets softball program, Caysie Norum McDowell, a three-time all-conference honoree during her career as a junior, named first-team all-region. Before wrapping up her career with the program, she had a .455 batting average with a school record. That was a school record and still ranked second all-time. She continues to hold the career record for slugging percentage, home runs, walks. She hit .486 as a senior. Folks, she was a stud at the plate. Presenting Caysie Norum is her father, Carl Norum, and head softball coach James Kling.
I'm a little nervous, so bear with me. To Caysie, I've been her coach, her cheerleader, her advocate. I've encouraged her, but most of all, I'm her biggest fan. But the most proudest thing I am is being her dad. I was there for each milestone on our way to becoming an all-star player here at UTD. So I guess it's fitting that I get to introduce her for this great award. Caysie started playing softball at the age of 5. Everybody kept looking up to her to see what was going on. The thing I remember most about Caysie at that time was her big bat. It was a huge Wilson red bat. She always thought the biggest bat would bring more power. I guess we were right. Back at the age of 5, in April of 2000, at the age of 9, she started her power surge by hitting 2 grand slams in a single game. She continued this trend up into high school, lettering all 4 years and making all district twice. She also, during high school, competed on tournament teams, and something her mom wanted me to mention. Softball is a spring sport here at college, but it's a year-round tournament. We play, or she plays, in 30 degrees weather and 100 degree weather down here in Texas. So it takes a lot of dedication for her to play, and we appreciate that. After completing the tournament team, she joined the UTD softball program. As you heard about all her stats while at the time that she was here, why she had earned this great honor to be in the Hall of Honor. But what those stats don't show you is the countless hours she spent sweating on the field to be able to accomplish those records. That's what I'm most proud of. She never gave up. She never quit. And that's why she really deserves this recognition, and what makes me the proudest coach, fan, and dad. Congratulations, Caysie.
Ladies and gentlemen, our second inductee, Caysie Norum McDowell.
Mine's not going to be near as long. First, I want to thank my parents for all the time and effort and driving me around everywhere to all the games and driving out of state and coming to see me play. I really appreciate all of the dedication that you allowed me to have in the game. I want to thank all my coaches that I've had, all my tournament ball coaches, my high school coaches, and my college coaches that I had while here, and also all my teammates. I want to thank two coaches specifically that shaped me the most as a player. That would be my hitting coach, Coach Haskell, who is no longer with us, and one of our assistant coaches that we had here, Coach Rob Robinson. Coach Haskell was my hitting coach through high school and college, and just anytime I needed some confidence in my swing, he was able to fit me into his schedule. I lived down in Houston, and so I would drive down there on the weekends, and he would fit me in where I could and just help bring me up and help me with my swing. Coach Rob, he was always willing to work with me and constantly pushed me to be a better player. I remember before games, we would have a competition. We would see who would be the most accurate with their throws. And of course, I always won. But he always had the time and would push me to be better and keep working. Even though I was the lead on the team, he wanted me to be better and never stopped. And he said, always be perfect at being perfect. And so I really appreciate both of their time to work with me. And lastly, I just want to thank the committee for even just considering me for this award. I never imagined this in 100 years, that this would even be possible. And so I'm truly thankful and honored and humbled to receive this. Thank you.
And our third and final inductee, one of the most decorated men's basketball players in Comet history. Chris Barnes played from 2008 to 2012, named second-team All-American by the NABC as a junior after leading UTD to 3 straight NCAA national championship appearances, 2-time All-District honoree by the NABC, twice named the East Division Player of the Year, finished as the program's all-time leading scorer and still ranks second all-time with over 1,400 points. He ranks top 10 in all-time block shots and rebounds. The Comets went 93-23 during his 4 years, and that 2009 squad advancing to the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament. Presenting head coach of the Comets, beginning his 19th season, Terry Butterfield.
Barnesy. I'd like to start by acknowledging his great family. Jay and Bernie. Could you wave, please? It's Mom and Dad. Sister, Alyssa. Okay. Kathy. Significant other. Sorry, I had to. I'd like to also thank all the guys that have come back for this, and I'd like to give a special thanks to Andrew Mash, who threatened all these guys about coming tonight. Andy, you did a great job getting the guys here, and it just warms my heart to see so many of Chris's teammates come out for this event, because it is special, isn't it? So I'm sitting there with my assistant coach, Jared Fleming, and I'm one of Chris's teammates, and I'm like, Jared, I need some dirt on this kid. What do we got? What do we got? So you wouldn't believe these guys. They're so tight. They're in fantasy football together. Jay's cooking lunch and dinner and breakfast for him at the lake house. I mean, these guys are inseparable. So Jared puts out the word on social media that Butterfield needs some stuff on Barnes. So not much trickles in, really. And so Andy Mash said it best. He texted in and said, well, Chris was better than all of us and better behaved in practice than all of us, so there's really not much to say. Which is probably true. But I got a little bit. This is from Wells Adams. Where are you, Wells? Okay. This may be PG. Okay. So apparently when Chris was a freshman, every time I came down the bench to look for a sub, and it looked like I was going to put Chris in, Wells had a water bottle and would turn around and spray Chris's crotch with a water bottle. Not my story, I'm just relaying. So when Chris would get off the bench, well, you can imagine the rest of the story. I never saw it, so that was news to me today. One time, Chris got mad and kicked the ball into the rafters. Do you remember that, Barnesy? See, a lot of this I forget, over the years. They're all blending together. One day in a post drill, Chris and Jimmy Witten got into a fight, and they were going to square off, and the problem was they were best friends, and I said, oh, you guys knock it off and give each other a hug. And I think I made them give each other a hug, if I'm not mistaken. Another time, we were at the Ozarks getting ready to play a ball game, and Wells Adams again threw a Gatorade cap at Barnes and put a cut over the top of his eye. It's right before game. So Barnes gets on the bus, and I look up, and the trainer has worked on his eye, and I say, Barnes, do I even want to know? He says, nope. Then he went out and got about 30 points on the Ozarks. Remember that? So Chris was a great shooter. Probably the best pure shooter we've ever had here at the university. I mean, he could really shoot. Defensively, well, so in his senior year, Chris picked up his second foul of the first half, which, if you know anything about basketball, that means normally a trip right to the bench. So being a senior and all, Chris talked me into letting him stay in the game, and I'm thinking, this is great. He's going to really be careful. 1 minute later, he got his third foul, and I had to bring him back to the bench. So that was that on the defensive side. My favorite basketball moment, if I might, we're at ETBU, and we're down 6 with under a minute to play. It may have been Look at Bernie shaking her head. I remember it. Yeah. It may have been 30 seconds, I don't know. But we were dead. We were going home losers. So we called timeout, and we ran a little dribble handoff into a ball screen between Kyle Schley and Chris Barnes. And on the first time down the floor, we handed the ball off to Schley, and Chris came up behind him and set a screen, and Schley buried a 3. Now we're down 3. Came down the floor, got to stop. We called timeout again. I said, let's run the same thing. Except, Chris, this time, when you set the screen, you take off and you run for that corner over there, and Kyle, you find him. And by golly, not much ever works out like you expect it. Came down, we handed the ball off to Schley. Barnes sets the screen, fades to the corner. Schley hits Barnes, boom, 3. Tie game, we go into overtime and win it. You remember that? My favorite basketball memory. You know, I've had a lot of memories with these guys that are here, and the basketball was a lot of fun. And the fact that you did what you did was really special with you along with your teammates. But I would just like to say that Chris Barnes was one of the happiest, most polite, classy kids I've ever had the pleasure to coach. He was loved by his teammates. He was loved by his coaches. I don't ever remember Chris Barnes ever speaking a bad word to anybody about anything. And 99% of the time, his smile went from ear to ear. He was one of the happiest guys and one of the funnest guys to be around in my 40-year coaching career. So I just want to say, Chris, that it was a complete honor and privilege to coach you. I am so glad you came to UTD, and you did phenomenally well, as you're doing now in regular life. And I wish they were all like you. Maybe a little better at defense, but I wish they were all like you. Thank you, Chris.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Barnes.
Y'all didn't believe in any of that, did you? Any of those stories? First off, congrats again to Darrow and Caysie. Honor well deserved. Let's give it up for them one more time. As Bill mentioned earlier, this is my second time up on the stage. About 5 years ago, I had the privilege of being inducted with the first team of all time, the 2008-2009 men's basketball team. And me being up here today, I think it's a byproduct of not only that team, but the 3 other teams I had the privilege of playing with. And just all you guys being here is just incredible, man. I mean, I think, like Butterfield said, it kind of speaks volumes about the group that we had. It was an unselfish group, a group that just cared about winning, and for whatever reason, y'all let me shoot, and I appreciate that. And I was kind of going through a bunch of stories and memories, and it was kind of hard to pick out one. Butterfield and Wells, thankfully, hit the highlights. But I'll have one more to add that wasn't quite as glorious as the ETBU one. I was a sophomore, and we traveled to Louisiana College, which is a tough place to play. I wasn't a starter at that point, coming off the bench. And I got in late in the game. We were up by 1. I think it was under 30 seconds probably. Get the ball, get fouled. It's a 1-and-1. I step up to the line. Missed the first one. Louisiana College gets the ball, comes down, scores. We end up losing the game. Everyone, all my teammates obviously picked me up, were very supportive. But to me, that's kind of an easy thing, right? Like, it's easy to say that in the moment. The next game is where we're kind of up against adversity again, and where I truly saw, what kind of teammates I had. So similar situation. It's a tie ball game. We're at Mississippi College. We get the ball under a minute. Butterfield calls timeout. He's kind of looking around. He says, there's no doubt, right? We're doing this. We're running this for Barnes. And it's a pretty senior team, right? We got Scott Rogers, who goes on to be an All-American that year, Jared Fleming, Jimmy Witten, Jordan Epping. You got a lot of guys that are multi-year starters, and he's calling my number. It's like, felt good. And there was no doubt on any of the players in that huddle, which also felt good. They all believed in me. So I think the play was drawn up. We inbound to Jared Fleming. He's supposed to swing the ball to Scott. I'm supposed to come off some screens, either have the option to shoot or drive to the hole, which I think we all knew what I was going to do. So we come out of the huddle. Ball gets inbounded to Jared, gets swung over to Scott Rogers. And at that point, the entire play went completely out the window. Scott just completely disregarded it, went to the hole. We scored and we won. But the fact that all those guys had my back, especially coming off a loss like we did at Louisiana, just meant a lot to me. So thank you guys for being so supportive. Like Butterfield said, we got a tight-knit group, and y'all are my brothers for life, so appreciate it. Second of all, thank you to Bill and the athletic program, the coaches. I obviously wouldn't be here without all of you. It's a tremendous honor. And last, but certainly not least, are my family, the whole crew down here. Couldn't ask for a better support system, both on and off the floor. Similar to what Michael was hitting on earlier, AAU basketball is a haul. You start when you're 11, 12 years old, traveling out of town, weekends, long trips, and y'all never skipped a beat. When I was up here at UTD, we're up here weekly seeing me play, so it means a lot to me. I love y'all. Yeah, thank you.
Let's have a nice hand for our 2019 class, Michael Darrow, Caysie Norum McDowell, and Chris Barnes. Alumni, we'd like for this to serve as an opportunity to, again, please come back to the Davidson Gundy Alumni Pavilion. Our alumni director, new to the university, Cody Myers. Cody, if you'd stand up real quick. Cody's done an amazing job here in the first year. And we really look to build off that and get the alumni more involved. And so we're going to be reaching out to you guys. I think we're planning some type of event off campus in the summertime with alumni down in Central and the Houston area. And again, we want to reach out. You guys are getting older, and we're gonna go keep up with you guys. So we want you to keep in touch. We want to know what's going on in your world. Excited to see relationships blossoming and families being created, and it's just great. That's why we're here. We want to. That's right. We want to invite you to our homecoming basketball game Saturday. The women's team takes on Southwestern at 2. We'll also introduce the homecoming class, or the Hall of Honor class, to the homecoming group there on Saturday. And our next men's basketball game is Sunday at 3 against Trinity. So, guys, we expect you to be there if you can. Again, thanks for coming out tonight. We appreciate you being here on this special evening for these 3 very deserving individuals. Thank you and good evening.